everybody. Good morning. Welcome in. Hello. Once again, Longshore McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Man, Tuesday here, Easter week. Masters is over. We put a wrap on that. NBA play-in action, Major League Baseball, and spring football. Man, it's come to a close as well. Barry, how's it going down there in Troy today?
I felt badly. What was it the other day that that we missed? We just missed. You and I don't miss much. We missed. It was the it was Big Cat Weekend. Remember we missed that? You and I were like, holy smokes, that thing's coming up. Maybe it was a little bit of it was National Signing Day too. We missed that as well. And I think our tastes, our predilections pretty much match everybody else's around here. The things that we like, he and I like different things. We like a lot of the same things. Are pretty much the things of the sporting public. John, I was shocked yesterday. I hadn't been home in a while, spent some time with the wife, and after dinner looking around, and John, the WNBA draft was going on. I mean, it's not like they were previewing it or they were saying, hey, coming up end of the week, WNBA draft. I looked up and there's Paige Beckers sitting. Look her up, John. She's a really good player. Paige Beckers sitting there getting interviewed and everything. And with the third pick of the WNBA draft, the Los Angeles Sparks. And I'm thinking, John and I never even got a preview off on that on Longshore and McKnight.
We missed that. We did. And as I think about it, Barry, I believe that the start of Alabama's spring football, we missed that as well. Now, that was in the heat of the basketball postseason, and really excited about, the SEC tournament, NCAA tournament. Kind of overlooked it with what Auburn and Alabama had been doing on the hardwood, but it was lunchtime before I went, wow, is Alabama starting spring practice today? We completely missed that.
Yeah.
And you're right, Barry. I did not know the WNBA draft was being held last night until my Bama text thread started dinging last night to inform me that Sarah Elizabeth Parker.
Sarah Elizabeth Parker. She's an actress, I think. This is Sarah Ansley. This is Sarah Ashley Barker with a B. It's Jay's daughter.
Yeah.
She was one of 3 Alabama players that went in the WNBA draft.
3?
Yes.
Do not get me to name them.
Well, how do you get 3 WNBA players in the draft and just barely make the Sweet 16? I don't know.
What's Christy Curry doing up there? Come on.
Yeah. That just in case some of you have got your finger poised over that's all we're talking about, the WNBA draft. That's it. Just we missed it. Hey, if you want to,
we missed it.
Ty or Getty Lee or Casino Greg, you guys serve it up. Say, hey man, you need to talk about the draft. I did notice that we already 1 minute into the show get a chat from Bill from Baltimore. Hey, it said Braves update. You guys got anything on the Braves? That usually is a telltale sign, John.
They're in Toronto, I believe.
Yes, they are. I watched a good bit of that game yesterday. As a matter of fact, that was after the time I spent watching the WNBA draft.
You take advantage of that 15% off deal they've got, because it's all over my phone. I mean, I'm getting all this. I don't know how I got on some Brave link or somebody did this as a joke.
I gave them your email address, and they gave me.
I'm getting all this stuff from and I'm looking, Bear. I can't find the unsubscribe button on it, but I mean, it's like every day, 15% off. Watch the Braves. I'm thinking, you got to do a lot better than 15% off.
That comes up to, so much of what, and I watched it yesterday. Yesterday was not the one I watched was MLB Free TV, and it was the Blue Jays broadcast. Dan Schulman, who I really like. And there's so many other things that go on in a baseball telecast anymore that didn't used to have it. And that's to try to attract the viewer. You used to have this really nice-looking young lady was the Braves dugout reporter or something like that. She'd have somebody on, and they'd try to dunk water on his head during the interview and stuff. Well, they got a guy now. His name is Wiley Ballard, and I really like him. Wiley Ballard is the same organization that announces the Alabama Sportscaster of the Year, announced Wiley Ballard as the Sportscaster of the Year in the state of Georgia. And he works hard. He does Brave stuff. He does a ton of Georgia Tech stuff. He does Georgia Tech baseball, all this kind of stuff. Really hardworking guy. They had Wiley Ballard yesterday to Bill from Baltimore Second Chat. He was up there interviewing fans. There were two very pretty girls up there. And the Braves are winning. Braves win, by the way, 8-4. And they had the video of him up there talking with the girls. I bet Gurn's got this on his topic wheel because it was pretty funny. Two nice-looking girls up there. They were in, one of the, not in the suites, but in the kind of fan area, the terrace at football games. And he asked one of them for their number.
Hey.
Live on TV,
Love it.
But if I'm Wiley, and he's maybe 28, 29, maybe 30, if I, salute, man. I know the cameras are all on you. You got thousands and thousands and thousands of people watching, but he was cute now. I mean, Wiley.
Yeah. I mean, I took a lot of gut shots. I mean, girls just, pow, it's okay. Next. You got no in your pocket. You might as well ask. And doing it there on live TV, I mean, that could have been a great Hallmark movie. I mean, wow. Reporter finds the love of his life at a game, asking for his number. And I mean, that could have been. I think they filmed those in Canada anyway. So, hey, got that going for them.
Now you've got all of the people out there, all of the national media pundits who have national media podcasts, and I listened to a few of them. Oh, how could he do that? The sanctity of television or whatever. And I thought about that a little bit. How do I stand on this issue? Obviously I'm very happily married and, all that kind of stuff. Even back in the day, I probably wouldn't have done that just because that's not my personality necessarily. But I would imagine back in the day in college football, post-game interview, I don't want to draw out any names, but Brandon Cox, quarterback for Auburn.
Yeah.
If Jill Arrington would have said, "Hey, Brandon, what about after the game? We head on over to Mellow Mushroom over there just off the square. Get a pie." I bet he would have said yes.
I'd have taken her up on that one.
Yeah, hey, man.
I wonder what she's doing now. Whatever happened to her?
I don't know. Well, I guess the Kelly big Tillman question the other day, so that's your next,
sure,
that's your next quest.
Did the girls give the guy's number? Her number? I mean, that's the world wants to know. I mean,
she might have. She didn't do it on the air.
Yeah,
I mean, that would have been
the guy's hand and got the Sharpie and written the number in his hand.
Get his phone, type your phone. That's what the kids do nowadays. They get their phone and they type in the number.
I would have liked to have seen how that played out. But you got to ask. Hey, let's go get a drink. Sure. Whatever. She says, no big deal. Move on to the next one. There's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of fish in the sea, guys.
That's right. Now,
just because
getting turned down on national TV.
No
big deal.
So what?
You see the every once in a while the marriage proposals.
Yep.
On either live TV in the stands or you see it, on the video board.
Yep.
Every once in a while that girl will look him cold in the eye and go, or she'll get up and leave or something like that. Other than a little blow to your pride. Tomorrow's another day. Sun rises,
Yep. I mean, sometimes they spit out the bait, but sometimes you lure them, you get them right there on the lip. Reel them in.
Got them hooked.
You just got to keep going. speaking of, I wanted to bring this up yesterday, but I just remembered it again. Man, I heard some great news. A cohort of ours in some degree, I guess, in sports media. Taylor Zarzar is now the voice of the Tennessee Titans. Of course, he went to Huntington. As a Huntington graduate, you see him all over the SEC network. And I didn't realize he was up for the gig, but man, it's pretty exciting stuff for him.
Good guy. He's a Facebook friend of mine. He's had a pretty good week He was up there at the Masters. He was doing live interviews. He interviewed Rory at the Masters. And then the next week, he takes the Tennessee Titans play-by-play job. I've said this before. I mean, money, doesn't drive me as much as it does a lot of people. But it, money aside and everything, being a guy on ESPN or having a good, solid radio or in my case, radio TV play-by-play job, having the job with the entity, it seems like a whole lot better, and I've done it as well, than being, going out and doing Louisiana Tech versus McNeese State or something like that. So good for him. That job came open because Bob Kessling has now officially, I guess, retired as the voice of the Vols, our great friend. Did the basketball broadcast in the Elite Eight for Tennessee, which they lost.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's done. Mike Keith moves over from the Titans radio booth to the Vols radio booth. And now Taylor Zarzour, I think he's fantastic. I really do.
I think he's good too. I think he's really good. I've always enjoyed
Huntington guy.
work.
I knew that. Yeah.
Yep. Mike Keith. I remember Mike years and years ago before he became the Titans.
Right. He was
play-by-play voice. Is it thought of in the industry that if you've become the play-by-play voice of an NFL team, you've reached the mountaintop? Reason I asked that, why would you leave the NFL to go to college? Is Keith a Tennessee grad?
He is.
Tennessee's a big program. I mean, I get that. But is it like this label that, this guy's an NFL, like he's an NFL referee instead of a college official?
Yeah. I'm not sure about the money, to be honest. There's more work being the voice of the Vols than it is being the voice of the Titans. NFL, you got 16 games, maybe the playoffs, whatever. For the Titans, not lately. But for the Vols, you got all the football games, all the basketball games. He's going to do all of those other stuff as well. So I don't know as far as prestige goes. I mean, give me the play-by-play voice of a team over the NFL stuff. The only thing that's really super attractive about the NFL is the money. But I don't know about the money.
I can't tell you NFL play-by-play guys. I know some of the SEC play-by-play guys just from listening over the years. I couldn't tell you who the guys were in the NFL except Deuce McAllister, who does the color for the Saints.
Yeah.
And he's got a little snake stabler in him because when things aren't going well, you can tell because Deuce is not happy.
We've had Wes Durham on. He's the voice of the Falcons. Guy named Frank Frangie with my Jacksonville Jaguars, who began his career as a newspaper guy. That's probably a good question. We may have to have a couple of those guys on during the summer.
Doesn't the guy that does Tampa Bay also do Florida State?
Well, he did. Yeah, Gene Deckerhoff. Very good. Yeah, he did both, but he retired from Florida State, not last year, but the year before. And he used to have a pretty good gig. Gene Deckerhoff, he used to do the Florida State game. Say Florida State had a home game, and then the next day, Tampa Bay had a home game. He'd do the game, and then he and his wife, they had an RV parked outside in the parking lot at Doak Campbell. They'd do the game. Well, they'd do the game tailgate beforehand or whatever. After the game, they'd get in that RV, and they'd drive overnight to Tampa. Spend the night in the RV. He'd sleep. His wife would drive, and they'd go do the Bucks game. But now he only does the Bucks.
Did Jack Crystal ever do NFL? I know he was Mississippi State's.
No.
Okay, so maybe it was. Who was it? Was it Wes Durham or somebody had a game in Starkville and had to be in San Francisco the next day?
That was Wes. Yeah, that was Wes. And you wonder about, the logistics behind all of that. Couple of quick ones before we go to break. Yes, John from Wetumpka, Longshore had a crush on Brandon Cox.
Whoa.
John was on the field doing a stand-up, as they say in the industry, on local television. And Brandon Cox came by, and John talk with him for just a second. John's done the same thing with Tebow and some of those guys.
It was after the game. It was all sweaty.
John,
curly black hair was glistening in the light.
Enough. And John just happened to mention the next show that he was a good-looking kid. Oh my God! You would have thought that John had spit on the flag. What? Jeez, John. I'm just saying, he's a good-looking kid. That is true from Bill from Baltimore.
Yeah.
Jason Jones, my buddy, my great friend, he says 2004 Waffle House in Troy. Jill Arrington sat behind me in the booth as she prepped for Troy versus Missouri.
Sweet. Nice.
Did you say
Very good,
anything, Jason? Did you? I mean, Jason's wife is, Jason outpunted his coverage.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I hear
so
you.
he's happy. It ain't like he's, fishing in the sea. But Jill Arrington, you got to say something, right? I mean, you turned around.
At least hello.
Your birch chili is getting cold, but
yeah,
you
going
hey,
with
Jill,
the pecan waffle today?
Yeah, I see you got the the ham and cheese omelet. Scattered and covered, huh? Yeah, something.
Yeah, I'll never forget. Stood right next to Jill Arrington on the sidelines of the Alabama-Tennessee game at Bryant-Denny. She had on some really tight white pants. Really tight.
Really tight.
And she asked the field producer, now, what do I need to ask Coach Fulmer? And I went, do you not know what you need to ask Coach Fulmer? But that was my semi-brush with greatness with Jill Arrington. Barry, when we get back, seen a couple of articles out there about a subject that we talked about yesterday, and people are picking up on it. Want to kind of touch that before we get to our first guest at the bottom of the hour, Bryan Matthews, auburnsports.com. Of course, at the top of the next hour, Travis Reier on YouTube, Talkin Tide. We got the Phantoms Daily Dog, Gurn Jr.'s Victoryland topic wheel later today as well. Keep those chats coming on our River Region Straw chat line. You can email Longshore McKnight at gmail.com via our Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry email inbox.
We are underway. Tuesday show. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Spring into savings at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, America's best-selling truck, the F-150. You can get every new 2024 at 2.9% APR for 72 months. How about an F-150 Lightning up to $15,000 off plus 0% for 75 months? The ever-popular Ford Bronco Sport as low as $25,990. The Ford Explorer, it started the SUV craze. An all-wheel drive with leather as low as $33,990. That's up to $8,000 off. $15,000 off Ford Expeditions. And what about the Ford Mustang? Starting as low as $29,990. And the all-new Ford Mavericks starting as low as $23,990 and no payment for 90 days. And don't forget about Stivers Ford's mobile service. Get serviced at your home or work anywhere near the River Region. It's all at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, where price sells cars.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. About 19 minutes past the hour here on a Monday with Longshore and McKnight. Presented by Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Michael Bruner of YellowhammerNews.com, one of our cohorts, had a piece about A-Day, Alabama's A-Day, as a matter of fact. And the lack of attendance, the lack of interest. About 70,000 people showed up last year for Kalen DeBoer's debut. They claim there was 20,000 Saturday. I'm not sure that's accurate. But why? Why? Is it just because it's not a game? Do fans still not want to go up there and get an autograph and hang around campus and get the feel of what's happening? Maybe, just take it in a little bit. I mean, was it really a game anyway in the past? But for allegedly 50,000 less people to show up, what's the reason? And, Auburn had about 20,000. I don't know what it was across the rest of the SEC. But is it because it's not a game, or is it that fans are kind of fed up? I'm fed up with this NIL. I'm fed up with this transfer. I'm fed up with ticket prices, everything else that goes into it. Was that a warning sign? Do athletic directors need to go, whoa, we weren't expecting that?
I think they were expecting it. I think part of it is this, and this is maybe the other side of the coin. I think for years, A-Day crowds were overinflated. Why in the world do you have 92,000 fans at a game? That type of a game. It ain't to watch the game. It's to show solidarity with each other. And mainly it was because Saban asked you to. Saban said, look, they got recruits in, it helps support the program when the recruits get to look in and see all that. So people didn't go, and they got 73,000 one year, 92,000 is the number I remember from that first big one. And it's because people thought, well, Saban asked me to do something, I'll do it. Now, there's other stuff he's asked us to do that we ain't doing, but we'll go because Saban asked us to. There ain't 92,000 fans got value out of watching that A-Day game. However many they've had at Auburn, and I've seen Auburn with 40-something thousand, whatever. And it's not so they can sit there and watch practice. Oh, boy, did you see that third-string fullback? It's kind of to hang out with your buddies. It's a fake atmosphere. Well, it's an atmosphere they try to mimic as much as they can, a game day atmosphere, but really, I think 10,000 is healthy.
Well, I
think that's about what it should be, to be honest with you.
20 years ago, I think things were different, a lot different. No NIL, no transfer, no nothing. The game was still pure, if you will. Alabama fans had struggled through Mike Shula, Mike Dubose, all the Mikes. So excited that they were able to reel in a guy that nobody thought they had a prayer of hiring. He'd won a national title at Notre Dame. Man, the fans were excited. They felt it. They liked his introductory press conference. He was no holds barred, and just, calling it like he saw it. This is great. This sounds like what Bear would do, whatever. So 92,000, that did surprise me. But for, it looked to me like 15,000, if that. But there again, and I've never been a big 8A guy anyway, but if that's when people can go and take it in, that's all good and well. But I don't think, that's a good sign that, well, we're not coming. I don't care. It used to be the day. It doesn't matter. If they put on the pads, we'll go watch them do jumping jacks. But that's not the case anymore. And is that a warning shot across college football that people are a little fed up with it?
It's just a change, it's just different. And there's guys who, embrace the change. Okay, this is the way it is now. It's not like this anymore. There are people who still lament it. I was talking to somebody the other day, a Troy fan. Yeah. And, the T-Day is, it's always been well received. He went. He said it was really good. All the different things around the event, a good crowd out there, but, not a sellout or anything. But they were talking about, a buddy of mine at Alabama does not like the fact that you don't have hard tickets anymore. When he was a kid, he used to save the ticket stubs and paste them into his scrapbook and everything. You don't have that. There's so many other things, a game program. And I know this Auburn guy who he showed it to me one time. This is years ago. he has every game program from Jordan-Hare Stadium dated back to, I don't know, like 1952 or something. He's got them. He's got them. They're not leather bound, but they're in these leather cases.
Yeah.
All up through there with little labels in it. It was like a library. And they don't even have, printed out game programs anymore. What's going on? All the things that we love, the tickets and the game programs and the spring game and all that, just gone, And, well,
and I get it.
And so's the Tide boxes. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, hey, your ticket's on your phone. That was a big deal. I remember when they transitioned over to that, people freaked out.
Ooh.
The old guard. No, I want my tickets and I want my program and I don't want them playing loud rock and roll music and lights flashing and all that kind of stuff. Well, the days of you parking right next to the stadium and walking 15 feet to go in and you got your little seat with your group of friends, it's a different day and age. Those things don't happen like they used to. People don't like it. I get it. But for just nobody to kind of show up, no big deal. Was it because it was not a real game? The band's not playing, whatever. Someone texted me and says, well, the rosters aren't set. People don't know who's going to be on the team. I don't know if I really go for that. I mean, I think in Alabama, who the quarterback's going to be. We're going to get to that in just a moment. I think who the wide receivers are going to be. I think you're going to know who your starting 22 are, the people that are out there the majority of the time. Maybe some of the second and third teamers might not be on the roster.
Yeah.
But I think who's going to be on the team and who the playmakers are going to be. So I don't know if I'm buying that one.
I don't either. Hey, I understand on the orange team, we got the first string quarterback and the second string running back. And on the blue team, we got the second string quarterback and the first team running back. This ought to be good. I'm interested to see the matchup. No, you're not. How many of you ever, really honest with yourself, ever sat there at Jordan-Hare Stadium and said, I'm telling you, Fred, the matchup to watch here today is that second string left guard. I want to see how he operates, how he holds in against that first string D tackle. I got my binoculars. I'm ready. No, that's not what it's for. I think it's healthier now that people don't go just because it's expected of them. They go because they want to go. It's a market-driven enterprise. I also think that's one of the reasons why in this vastly changing sports landscape that we're in, that people love the Masters maybe even more than they ever did. I noticed that the Masters had the highest rating over the weekend, this past weekend, that a golf telecast has had in the past 7 years. Why?
I bet.
Because other than, some of the tiger proofing, what the holes are going to look like. Where the flowers are. What, you got Nance up there. You got the same pimento cheese sandwiches they've been serving for years and all that. You got, there's afterwards, I didn't realize all of the different traditions, like the green jacket they put on Rory. They just borrowed that from somebody, from one of the members who looked like he was Rory's build, No, you're too tall. Ooh, yeah, you got too much of a boiler. I didn't realize all that. The green jacket is just borrowed, and they've taken Rory's measurements, and there's some place in Cincinnati that doesn't get a whole lot of publicity. That will soon come out with it. Rory will be able to wear the green jacket outside of Augusta National for 1 year. 1 year. I don't know, to church maybe, or to
be on late night.
After that, the jacket has to stay at the club for the rest of his life.
Yes, he can only wear it when he comes back on the grounds.
Yes. And that's what people, obviously he'll be able to go to the Masters. He gets an exemption for the rest of his life. He's an honorary member of Augusta National. They get a tee time on a pre-Masters Sunday to play with a guest. I think Scheffler played with his mom last week.
Oh, wow.
You get a locker in the champions locker room, which would be pretty cool. But that stuff's been the champions dinner. That stuff's been going on forever. That's what people like about the Masters is it don't change. People don't like change that much. That's why so many people are so ticked off at college football. They say, it's changed. I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah, but they're, from
really.
what I understand, they're still selling season ticket packages. I don't know if there's, availability. There were times during the Saban era where they allegedly had 10,000 people on a waiting list to get season tickets in Tuscaloosa. I don't know if that's still the case or not. Certainly if it is not, they're not going to make that public. Yeah. But, the big games, you're going to see the place packed. The not so big games, you're seeing more and more empty seats, and you saw it in spring games as well. I do think, Barry, NIL and transfers have a lot to do with it. I think people are fed up with it. I think they got a bad taste in their mouth. You're already seeing people out there. The transfer portal window opens tomorrow, folks. I think it's going to be extremely interesting to see what happens beginning tomorrow in Tuscaloosa, in Auburn, in Athens, in Knoxville, in Baton Rouge, and all across the country. Who's entering the transfer portal? And there's already some rumblings of some people that are going to be doing it.
Yeah.
But tomorrow it will become official. And Barry, I think fans are tired of it. They're tired of this. They don't like the fact that people can hop, skip, and jump all over the place multiple times in their college careers. We talked about it last week. You kind of wonder about the academic side of it. Are these credits transferring? Are they even in school? Do they even care? One of the other obstacles that they've got to get straightened out with this House versus the NCAA thing. We've talked about guardrails for so long now. And Barry, I remember about a year ago, maybe 18 months ago, talking about a subject where athletic directors around the league, around this state, John Cohen and Greg Byrne, telling their big donors, give us 18 months. Just hold on. We need 18 more months. Well, 18 months is going to be about June of this year. So what is going to happen?
Yeah. It's kind of like that Leonard Skinner song, Give Me 3 Steps, Give me 3 steps towards the door. You're starting to see it. It's starting to happen. It's a lot like Christmas morning tomorrow where you find all this out, but you already have gotten a few hints about what you're going to get. When John used to clip out the little newspaper ad for Stretch Armstrong, used to slip it into his dad's Alabama Journal every afternoon. Oh, what is this? Stretch Armstrong. And then he'd look over and there's little John. John's like,
when you tried to peek and open up a package and reseal it so your mom wouldn't know that you actually took a look in there.
You get to
do that.
You get the steam from it, but and so everybody kind of knows who they're going to get, who they're going to lose by the time the portal does open officially tomorrow, and it's not open for long. So it's a little bit like Christmas morning in that if you're a little bit sneaky, like John and I were as kids, you got a pretty good idea with that big package over there, back in the back behind the
just the way
behind that, behind that Christmas ornament that you made when you were a kid with your little hand pressed in clay and Christmas.
So is lack of A-Day attendance just another sign of buyer's remorse, if you will?
Well, Bob from Pike Road is fired up. He's already, even before the basketball season ended, talking about, hey, who's going to be the starting quarterback at Alabama? Will be, Bob says, hey, we have a long 4 months until we're back in season. August can't get here soon enough. He's still excited about it, even though the roster he's looking at now for his Crimson Tide isn't going to look like the roster.
Well,
Barry, in the fall, but it doesn't matter. It's football.
Here's a perfect example. As we go to break, Bryan Matthews is going to join us here in just a moment. See, I'm kind of bummed out too, Barry, because I always looked forward to Bob's post-spring breakdown of the offense and defensive lines in Tuscaloosa. Player by player, position by position, stunts, swim moves, whatever, all this technical mumbo jumbo breakdown from Bob. We don't get it because Bob didn't see the game and neither did we.
And the guys that are playing in the game are probably not going to be the same guys that are going to be playing in the fall. Well, Bryan Matthews, AuburnSports.com is coming up in a moment. He's in the green room in association with Yellowhammer News. It's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com.
Introducing Budweiser Zero. 0% alcohol, 0 grams of sugar. Full Budweiser flavor. A refreshing alcohol-free brew that tastes like the real thing. Budweiser Zero. 0 alcohol, 0 compromise.
All guests of Longshore McKnight appear on the City of Montgomery guest hotline. Check out the most interesting and informed personalities in sports covering Auburn, Alabama, Troy, ASU, and all the major teams from across the country. John and Barry have the best guests brought to you by the City of Montgomery. To find out everything you need to know that is going on in the capital city, check out montgomeryal.gov. That's montgomeryal.gov, the capital of dreams.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. About 24 minutes to the top of the hour on this Tuesday. And as we always do, we welcome in our friend Bryan Matthews, auburnsports.com. Bryan, hello. How you doing today?
I'm doing okay. The allergies are kicking me a little bit in the rear, but I'm hanging in there.
Yeah, it's that time of year. I came from Norfolk, Virginia last week, where it's the pollen capital of the world. Ooh. How I escaped that's unbelievable. Okay. Post A-Day, trying to figure out what it all meant, what was the overall gist, and you're the first one we get to ask. Well, A-Day is over with. What was the value? Where was the value, Bryan?
There wasn't much value. It was nice to get some folks in Auburn, right, to come over. A huge turnout for the autograph session afterwards. I noticed the field at Jordan-Hare Stadium was full of people there, so I think that was good for them, right? The people that wanted to participate in that and get those autographs and such. I don't think there was much happening on the field. They did some 11-on-11 and some stuff near the goal line and the 25-yard line. I thought Perry Thompson did some good things. The receiver there played really well. They held out Jackson Arnold because he had a slight, hamstring pull. I won't even say it was a pull, just felt something there, just to be careful there. But so Deuce Knight was the main quarterback out there, at least for the scholarship guys.
How'd he look?
He looked solid, good. He threw the ball well. He's got a great arm. Pretty good accuracy, I think. I think the coaches were pleased with him over the spring, how well he's picked up the offense. Feel like he's a guy that could, if needed, play for Auburn and potentially start this fall.
The attendance out there, people have been making a deal about that. It's obviously it's not as much as it's been back when A-Day was really cranking. It was his heyday of the A-Day. But I think the attendance is pretty much what it should be. I mean, the attendance is what it deserves to be. I think having, less than 40,000 fans is probably a healthy thing. That's probably about what it's worth, right?
Yeah, I would estimate around 5,000, maybe more. I haven't seen the official estimate, official numbers, but it's not really A-Day anymore. That was just a glorified practice. I mean, the first 35 minutes were them just stretching and doing warm-ups, right? So, that's not much to look at. Yeah, it was just the basic stuff there. They did after that. They did some one-on-ones with the receivers and cornerbacks on one end of the field. On the other end, they did little pass rush drill, between the D line and the offensive line, and then they finished up with a few things. But there was no game involved there. It was just a glorified, really a cut down practice in a lot of ways.
Bryan, do you think that's why the attendance numbers are lower? Because they are billing it as this spend the weekend here, and we're going to have autograph sessions, and we're going to have, they're trying to build it up. And this seems to be going on all across the country, all across the SEC, where we're not really having a game, but we still want you to come. And we got all these other activities going on. And based on the numbers, the fans aren't buying it.
Yeah. I just think, well, first of all, I give Auburn credit for, getting out ahead of this and being honest about it, right? They didn't try to fool anybody. They didn't try to charge anybody any money to attend this thing. So I just think once people realize what it was, there's a lot less interest in that. And it may be the last time we have something like this. We'll see.
Yeah.
It also kind of serves as the harbinger of the end of spring. Tomorrow, transfer portal opens, and we're already hearing some Auburn guys now that spring is over, now that, even really kind of before A-Day even started, that there's some guys leaving, there's some guys who are coming in. What's the general sense? What's the transfer portal look like for Auburn?
Yeah, well, so far I have 3. There may be more that I missed, but they're all secondary players. Terrence Love and C.J. Johnson are 2 safeties. J.C. Hart is a cornerback from Lochapoka there. Not surprised by any of these moves. You look at the safety position. Caleb Harris came in and started as a true freshman last year. They signed 2 of the best safeties in the country in the last class, and I thought Fagans came in and had an incredible spring, and could be another starter as a true freshman back there. And Eric Winters really came on there the last week of spring. So I think some of the veteran safeties kind of saw the writing on the wall there and deciding to move on. And then similar at cornerback, I think they're really pleased with the guys like Blake Woodby, Donovan Starr, a couple of true freshmen working their way into that rotation, which is really going to affect the playing time of some other guys that have maybe been there a year or 2.
How about maybe transfers coming into Auburn? Hearing any rumblings there?
I basically just they're targeting some certain positions, such as the defensive line, potentially pass rusher. I feel like they need another middle linebacker when they play some of these big physical SEC teams that want to run the ball down your throat. So those are some targeted areas, I think, on that side of the ball. And potentially on offense, they could look for another receiver, depending on what happens, if they have some attrition there. That's another position with a whole lot of talent, a whole lot of young talent. We'll see if there's any movement there, too.
I loved the turn of phrase in BMAT's Monday Musings about all of this heading into the fall. Bryan says he's Missouri about it all. You're going to have to show me, but on paper, at least, where do you think are the areas that they're going to have to show you the most, areas where you have the most questions?
Oh, I would say definitely offense and definitely quarterback and just overall ability to move the ball and score points. It's been a real struggle for Auburn over the past 4 years plus, going back to Gus's last couple of years there. And, Hugh Freeze is supposed to be this terrific offensive mind, supposed to be a great developer of quarterbacks. I think everybody needs to see that starting this fall.
Speaking of quarterbacks, Bryan, your thoughts about what happened up in Knoxville over the weekend?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't necessarily blame the player or the school for what they did, although I would blame the player a little bit there. But I think the real issue is that this is what the NCAA has allowed to happen, right? They have sat on their hands. They have tried to do things they knew were not going to stand up in court. And that's why we're at this point where these things are happening, right? The player felt like he had the ability to do what he did legally and felt like it would profit him. It's not going to. He's going to end up losing money out of this, I feel like. And I think Tennessee did the right thing by cutting him loose, or there would have been general mayhem on that roster.
Yeah.
But had the NCAA taken steps and the people that run the organization, the ADs, have just accepted that employment is the best way to go, they could have had what's the word I'm looking for? They could have reached agreements where you get rid of some of the stuff that people hate, like players holding out or the transfers so often and happening so much. They could have collectively bargain. That's the word I was looking for. so many things away while giving the players some things they want, like more money or whatever. This is all possible through employment, but they're still fighting this, and that's why we're at this point.
Does not look like there's going to be. I don't know. The House settlement is going to, hopefully, if and when it happens, is gonna maybe set some, but that's not the be all end all in terms of providing the structure that college athletics needs.
And Bryan, you touched on something. I heard several people talking about it throughout the day yesterday. To me, it does kind of look like employment, if you will, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
is in the future, because the schools have got to have something binding so these guys aren't jumping ship all the time. I mean, we're not going to pay you 6-7 figures and then you're gone in 8 to 10 months. You got to give us a commitment of 1, 2, 3 years, whatever it may be. And then we'll give you, we'll talk about how much money we're going to pay you.
And maybe even put buyouts in those contracts. So if a school wants to come over here and pluck you a really good player, they're going to have to pay you, and you'll have some money to go out and get a replacement. So there's a lot of things you can do once these kids are employees or some form of employee, whatever that's going to be. And I just don't know why the schools are fighting this so much still, knowing what it is right now. It's such a mess because there are no rules, and the rules change every week, and we don't know what's going to happen with the House settlement and all that either. So it's just a complete mess right now, and they need some grown ass men to step up and excuse me. And
hey, I hear you, buddy.
The situation.
Yeah, I hear you.
Hallelujah. Yeah.
You're part of a big website. You cover a big Power 4 team. Well, what do the fans think about it? When you talk to the fans, what are their feelings about how college football what it's turned into?
I think a lot of them are fed up with it. Fed up with the things that are happening that they really don't like the portaling, the player movement, like this holdout thing that's really going to upset a lot of fans. They're not going to like that at all, right? And then I think because of the revenue sharing that's coming, because of NIL, these fans are also getting needled and pushed and poked for more money. Every little thing is about raising more money, getting more revenue to pay for all this. So I think it's a double-edged sword right now that are really hitting up fans and boosters, and I think they're getting really fed up with it. I think it's really tough time to be a supporter of a college football program.
We note with great interest this past weekend in SEC baseball, in case anybody hadn't been paying attention, the top 5 RPIs in college baseball are all SEC teams, and Auburn's RPI is number 5. They sweep LSU, which had come in with only 3 losses all year. Auburn hands them 3 at Hitchcock Field at Plainsman Park. How did that happen, Bryan?
I don't know. It was a terrific weekend. It's the first time Auburn swept LSU since '88. Of course, LSU traditionally one of the best programs in the country. I think Auburn's pitching starting to come together. I do. They held them, I think, to 8 runs the entire series, if that's right or not. And Auburn really has done a good job of jumping on pitchers early. The week before, LSU had held Oklahoma to no earned runs in those 3 games. Their 3 starters and top 2 relievers. And Auburn was really able to get into their starters each week. Only 3 runs Sunday, but that's all they needed, which really surprised me. Sunday's usually a high-scoring game there because most teams are out of pitching. So I think that was part of it. I also think LSU was coming off of back-to-back road trips. Auburn did that and got swept at Georgia. LSU did that and got swept at Auburn. So I think that mentally kind of has an effect on teams going to that second weekend on the road. So I think that played a part too. I don't think LSU played their best ball at Auburn. I'm not trying to take away anything what Auburn's accomplished. They're playing really good baseball right now. They also early in the week went to Georgia Tech and got a top 15 win there. Yep. So, and of course, it doesn't get any easier. They go to Texas, number 1 team in the country this week.
Oh, wow.
Starting Thursday for a 3-game series. So right back at it.
This from our buddy Jason Jones. He says the NCAA has to go away so this can be fixed. Grown-ass men's the best thing ever said on this show. Is that what we're advocating, Bryan? NCAA going away?
I think it's a terrible institution that has stolen a lot of money and not really given much of it back. So I'm all for it. I'm not saying that the SEC and the Big Ten necessarily run things, but there might need to be another
I'd
way
be okay
to
with that.
to run
Yeah, I'd
things.
be okay with that.
Uh,
The NCAA, you're done.
Yeah.
You're over. Nobody cares. You screwed this whole thing up. So yeah, I'm with Jason there.
repeatedly
yeah.
screwed it up.
What are we? I mean, Brian, what are we waiting on? That's what I can't figure out.
Yeah.
I mean, the transfer, NIL, all this crazy stuff. What happened in Knoxville to me should be the final straw. They should be people just, stomping their fist on boardroom tables, going, enough is enough. Because I know the fans are. We've talked about that. So, yeah, I mean, this deal with up in Tennessee, that to me is what really got me over the edge. On a lighter note, look, I've always been a big Flavor Flav fan. It goes without saying. I mean, the big clock. I mean, the TV series with Brigitte Nielsen. Actually, Brian, not to be funny.
Let's not go there.
It is true. A rerun of Flavor Flav actually outrated an Auburn, Florida game on ESPN. Now, this was 25 years ago, but I remember seeing the ratings going,
this is a Longshore staple of his program.
Flavor of Love outrated a college football game, which it did. It's true. And, of course, Flavor Flav and Chuck D were part of Public Enemy. Man, tell us about it on your Monday Musings, brought to you by Uncle Keith's Red Sauce.
I did. 37 years ago was the release of their album, It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back, which is considered one of the greatest hip-hop albums of all time. Kind of one of those albums that kind of set the tone for the future of hip-hop there. And I think Rolling Stone rates it as one of the top 20 albums of all time. Just a terrific job there by those guys. So I did touch on that in my musings. I also talked about I was pleased with what I saw in the spring for Auburn football, but as you said earlier, Missouri, especially on the offense, you just don't know, want to see it out there against SEC foes. But Uncle Keith's sponsors my Monday Musings, delicious. Give it a try statewide at Publix, Piggly Wiggly, Renfro's. Online, you can order it. Use BMAT15 for 15% off.
And you can also go to the website, Brian's website, auburnsports.com. Subscription information available. A lot of baseball, a lot of other stuff. Transfer portal is opening up. You need to be a part of it, and don't miss a beat about anything that's going on at Auburn. auburnsports.com. Brian, we appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. I'll talk to you next week.
Yep, we'll do it. Thank you so much, my man. Always appreciate it. Great visit with Bryan Matthews, auburnsports.com. Mixing in a little Public Enemy. You kidding me? Chuck D and Flavor Flav?
I got to tell you, I'm not the biggest Public Enemy fan out there, but off of that album, okay?
Yeah.
The album is called, again, 37 years ago, the album is called It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back. They had Bring the Noise. You Got a Party for Your Right to Fight. Night of the Living Bassheads. All right. It has piqued my interest. Yeah.
Oh,
B-Matt's
was
Musings.
Chuck D or Flavor Flav the lead? Or did they both kind of share it?
They both kind of shared it. They both were going to college in Long Island, and they formed Public Enemy. Chuck D. Several lineup changes, but Chuck D and Flavor Flav still going at it, still with them. Flavor Flav was once was it last year or the year before? I think it was the year before. They had Flavor Flav Night of the Biscuits.
They did. Yeah, I knew there was something. He came to Montgomery for something. Yeah, it was. It was Flavor Flav Night. That's exactly right.
There's a girl that I know, a girl. There's a lady that I know that I worked with for years who now works with the Biscuits. She's an older lady. And she put on Facebook her selfie with Flavor Flav, and I thought, this is so far at the ends of the social spectrum of the United States of America. I never thought I would see something like this. Flav was giving out all of the selfies and yeah, boy, and all this kind of stuff. The clock was there, the whole deal.
I want to know who Flavor's. I'd like to know who his dentist is. Man, that guy has got some incredible dental work.
Well,
unbelievable.
yeah. So, well, we are glad to have Bryan Matthews on with us. Coming up in a bit, Travis Reier. He's from Reier on YouTube. That's about 5 minutes away with Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
1. You're not buying sticks, stems, and pine cones. You're buying premium long-diddle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the River region, full of color that will last all season long. Kenny has locations in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn, and no order is too big or too small, from a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load. Pickup is available, or your order can be delivered. They can even spread your pine straw if you like. So call or text Kenny today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959 for all of your pine straw needs. Well, as a matter of fact, Barry, Phantom Enterprises getting a spread today from the good folks at River Region Straw. Going to beautify the place, getting ready for the big Easter weekend coming up. So give Kenny a call or text today, and he can hook you up, 669-5959. They can deliver the pine straw. They can spread it for you, or you can go pick it up yourself. It's up to you. No order's too large or too small. They can handle it all from a pickup truck load to an 18-wheeler load. River Region Straw, 669-5959. You teased it a little bit. We've been so busy already today. I just hadn't had time to go look at the scores from Major League Baseball last night. Is it about time for a Braves update?
Yeah, I watched a good bit of the game last night. I've been so busy. Again, I'm just back.
Yep.
After a night and a half of sleep from a 12-day road trip, where you catch the Braves when you can. I had a chance to sit and watch a fair amount of it. Braves win at Toronto 8-4.
Oh, wow.
The big story, Austin Riley hit 2 home runs in the game for Atlanta. Atlanta is now 5-11 after what, an 0-7 start?
Okay.
Braves are now 5-4, so it's not like they're lighting the world on fire. The games today, the Braves take on Toronto. Again, it's at 6:07 tonight. This is, and I don't want to get too into the weeds because John's eyes roll up in the back of his head, but okay. Next couple of nights, they were talking, the Blue Jays announcers were talking about this yesterday. Tonight, Spencer Schwellenbach is on the mound for the Braves.
Schwellenbach.
He's
There's
been
a name.
great.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
And he was great last year in his first year. He was great last year. That's tonight. And then coming up later on, I believe it's Wednesday, Spencer Strider is going to be back. That's right, Spencer Strider. Yeah, he missed the year. He had the elbow surgery last year, and he was just absolutely tearing it up after 2 starts last year. He has the elbow surgery. I kept trying to tell John this with no Spencer Strider on the mound, and with no Ronald Acuna out there, the Braves are playing really with one hand tied behind their back last year. John wasn't hearing any of it, but it was the truth. Now you get Spencer Strider back after Spencer Schwellenbach tonight. You got to like the Braves' chances in this series, and especially if those guys get healthy. And if what I just said, the last 30 seconds, Riley 2 homers last night, Schwellenbach tonight, Spencer Strider back. He'll be throwing again, hopefully on Wednesday. John, if that doesn't get Robbie from Greenville on the chat line, I want somebody to find the number, maybe the 911 to the Greenville Police Department, but just a phone call to the main switchboard, because I imagine they've had a few asking where in the world Robbie is, because that right there was just intended to draw Robbie out of the weeds and get him back on the chat line. If he doesn't talk about this, I'm a little worried about him.
I'm with you, Barry. I touched on it yesterday. We have not heard a lot out of Robbie since the Braves were on this downward spiral. You know, they have crept up a little bit. They're winning a little bit. I don't believe they have the worst league, the worst record in all of Major League Baseball. I have to check that. I don't believe they do anymore. I think it's Colorado.
Like they did for a long time. Well, Colorado and the White Sox now.
Oh, White Sox were terrible last year. What's going on up there?
They're so bad. But the Rockies are by far the worst right now.
I know the mayor down there, you know, the Gurn families from down around Greenville, our man Bryan Matthews at Cambrian Ridge. We got a lot of contacts, Big C. We got a lot of contacts in Greenville. I'm getting a little worried about Robbie. I mean, no pre-8A talk, no post-NCAA tournament talk, no Braves talk. I don't know what's going on at Greenville High School, but usually something mixed in about them as well. I'm a little concerned about Robbie, so somebody let us know.
Yeah, I know that, last week was kind of a tumultuous week down in Greenville. I wasn't expecting anything from him. Gurn Jr. was down signing autographs. I think he had some sort of a dinner in his honor down there or something.
It was at the Sonic, I think.
Yeah, but we had to drive through. But but Robbie, it's about time, okay? It's about time.
Let me ask you this, Barry. Let me just throw this out there. Is Robbie mad at us? Is it something we said? Did we not maybe reference his chats quick enough?
Dennis is hanging in with us.
Yeah, Dennis got on us a little bit yesterday, though.
Robbie really, really wants phone calls. I don't know how that's going to go. I'm not a policymaker here within the corporation, but I don't know which way it's going to go. So, I mean, I'm fine with whatever, but you feel like Robbie, he enjoys the show. There's no doubt he enjoys the show. He's been supporting us for years. He enjoys the show, but he likes the show best when he is on it.
Yes.
When he is spending his 3 or 4 minutes, it concerns me because in the past, you used to put Robbie on the air. John would go to the restroom and go get some coffee. And my job when Robbie was on was every 15 or 20 seconds to say, Robbie, but no, I don't think it, kind of just keep him going and everything. Yeah. It was an audio only medium where, he didn't know whether John and I were flipping him off or had our feet on the table or anything like that while he was talking. Because that's what he loves to do. He loves to get on and just talk. He can't do it on this format. Plus, also, now John, I don't know. I think John needs to get one of those big fat heads of himself with the microphone right there and with the Bud Light in the background. So whenever Robbie is on, if we ever do have phone calls on this program and Robbie is on, John can just slide that fat head over, and it looks like John's paying attention while he goes off and gets some more coffee.
I will real quickly, Bear. I will tell you this, and before we get to Travis, Robbie called me out on that one day. I got to admit, I wasn't paying attention. He was going off on a rant, and he said, John. I'm like, yeah, Robbie, I got you. Yeah. I had no clue what he was talking about. I had to scramble. He burned me on that one. I learned my lesson. I won't do that again.
Yes, you will. Who are you kidding? Of course you will. I don't, if he's saying I won't get caught again, okay, I can believe that. But otherwise, no, he's doing that again. more than once.
I'm in Travis Reier on YouTube, Talking Tide, joining us here today on our City of Montgomery guest hotline. Travis, good morning. How you doing today?
I'm great. How are you guys?
We're doing really well, trying to figure out exactly, pardon the pun, what we saw at the spring game at Alabama and at Auburn and in all these other places, and B, what it all really means. What's the value of what happened in Tuscaloosa on Saturday inside Bryant-Denny Stadium? Is there any? And if so, what was it?
Yeah, I think a lot of Alabama fans are still trying to figure out exactly what the value was. Now, if you're into sentimentality and, those type of things, nostalgia, I still think there's some things you can take from the day. The captain ceremony at the Denny Chimes. There was an autograph opportunity. Of course, there were some strings attached to that as well. But as far as on the field stuff, no, it's kind of become like Pro Bowl weekend in the NFL. So if you were hoping to see something resembling an actual football game at Alabama and some other places, it looks like we're moving away from that.
So with that, Travis, I guess autograph sessions and ceremonial events just don't attract the fans. Is it that they want the game atmosphere? Or is it what I've heard, the transfers, the NILs, roster mix-ups or changes between now and the start of the season that fans are just kind of turned off by it?
It could be some of all of that. Although, fan apathy from the perspective of NIL and transfer portal is hard to buy when you see the Final Four do the numbers it did, right? Nobody's watching, but everybody apparently was watching, or people have quit watching, but there's more people watching according to CBS and its numbers than ever before. But sure, I think there isn't maybe as much of the connection between the fan and the roster, and that's understanding. You knew before you were going to lose guys every 3, 4, 5 years. Your roster is constantly turning over, but at least you had 3 or 4 years to feel like you did grow some type of connection. And, it's, I don't know. I don't, what I don't buy into at all is this poaching angle where spring games are concerned, because you don't think Courtney Morgan, the GM at the University of Alabama, doesn't know every player on every Power 4 roster. The schools that need to worry about being poached are one that we saw yesterday lose its starting quarterback to North Carolina. That's South Alabama. That wasn't the University of Alabama or Auburn. And you can look at Alabama even in this last portal season. Running back from Louisiana Lafayette, a offensive lineman from the MAC. That's still the level that needs to be most worried about starter caliber guys being poached. There was talk about Nico and him going to North Carolina. It's a quarterback from South Alabama that North Carolina got yesterday.
That kid is the truth, too. Left-handed, he can play for sure. That's a great point.
About $3.5 million cheaper than probably Nico, too, on the market.
What do you think about that? About Nico, the Tennessee quarterback, making the play that he did? Did he play that right? Did Tennessee do what they had to do? And is this a precedent setting?
Tennessee did what it had to do because of what Tennessee did a couple of years ago. A couple things can be right at the same time. I know there's a lot of love for Josh Heupel in Tennessee right now for cutting ties with this me-first quarterback. But who paid him? Who guaranteed him essentially $8 million as a high school player to start with? Tennessee. And that being said, I credit Tennessee for doing what, from a team dynamic, certainly had to be done. Guys start sitting out practices. That's where Nico screwed it up.
That's exactly right.
You can go and say and try and say, look, I'd really like to see this go to 4 for this season, but you don't start skipping out on practice. I mean, when you do that, we can talk about Heupel and the courage. No, to me, there was no courage.
He had to do it.
When guys start sitting out practices, you can lose your whole damn team.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Woo.
Because everybody's not making $2 million like in the NFL and guys sit out. So, no, I mean, Josh Heupel did what he had to do. You know, when a guy starts holding out from practices, you know, that you really have the decision made for you. And so, you know, and also what I would say with some of these guys with high earning potential in the NIL, man, go professional with your representation. Maybe Nico did that. I don't know. But if I was in that situation, or my son or one of my children, I would be calling someone like CAA, one of the top representation firms there are in professional entertainment, not just even sports, CAA, whatever, okay? And even if they didn't represent NIL cases, I would ask for their feedback on who. And these are my options. Can you advise? And you know what? I would think a CAA would be more than glad to guide you in that, because CAA wants to represent you in the National Football League. They would have a vested interest to guide you.
And that's what I think
in the right direction.
People don't understand, is that it's not these players going out and, you know, beating the bushes and contacting these other schools. And you do see on Twitter and X, you know, so-and-so from Liberty is represented by such and such agency. But you also see way too many people, so-and-so is represented by his Uncle Earl, who has a couple of Subway restaurants in Yulee, you know?
Exactly. But even in NIL, there's no certification process for the representation. The NFL has NFLPA certification standards to be an agent in the National Football League or represent NFL players. You have to actually pass through a legitimate certification process. So even when I see in NIL that so-and-so is represented by an agency, well, hell, that could be any of us. Yeah. You know, there's no, and they're taking 20 or 30%. Whereas an NFL certified agent, the max that they can take is 3. So I just think there is some hold my beer and watch this going on by some of these folks that are supposedly qualified to represent these athletes, and probably a little bit of everything in terms of not handling it the right way.
So was what happened in Knoxville, I don't want to say the final straw, but for lack of a better way to put it, to get these presidents, athletic directors, college administrators to say, wait a minute, enough is enough. We have got to put a more streamlined guardrail approach to this, whether it's making them employees, having contracts, whatever it is, but this is so out of whack, we've got to reel this in. Was what happened in Knoxville maybe the start to get something, a process going where we can streamline this and make this more uniform?
I don't know, because the manner in which that process has always drug its feet, I don't know if anything's really going to be expedited through all this. I think what it does send is the message, at least from the boots on the ground football level, that, you know, we have a tipping point. This isn't just a blank check situation, even at the quarterback position. Because what you saw, even in this most recent recruiting cycle, because of what Tennessee initiated with Nico a couple of years ago, you had a Juju Lewis come through, the Carrollton, Georgia quarterback, who I know asked at Southern California for $2 million a year. Because, hey, Nico got it. Nico got $2 million. I'm that kind of guy in this class. And, you know, Lincoln Riley, he can get quarterbacks. And he doesn't have to pay $2 million to get a quarterback. And that's why you're seeing Juju Lewis at Colorado. And after being committed to Southern California. Because Juju Lewis, every time he would show up in LA, it was all about NIL. It wasn't even about meeting with Lincoln Riley. You know, I mean, his representatives, they didn't even want to meet with Lincoln Riley. They wanted to meet with NIL people. Get back on the plane, go home. And that was the dynamic for him. So that's what you've got in the wake of all of this. But Lincoln Riley essentially told Juju Lewis and family, there ain't gonna be 2 million. So Juju, again, I
Well,
don't
there ain't gonna
think
be
he
no
got
money.
it from Colorado, but I think he went to Colorado probably feeling like I can walk right in at Colorado, even for less money. And I think a lot of these guys, it's tied to their playing time too. Okay, if they got 2 million invested in me going in a year, I'm starting on top
Yeah.
of getting the money. They've got that money into me now.
Well, that also has another side to it as well. If your NIL people are paying this much money for somebody and he's a backup guy,
Yeah.
they're not getting any ROI out of that. So they're pushing the coach to say, hey, you can let this kid go. We can spend our money on somebody else who can actually play. It's two sides. With all this being said, and with the transfer portal, opening back up for a little bit post spring starting tomorrow, and people are lamenting, what Iamaliava did and what Juju Lewis is leveraging and all that as college athletics. How much trouble are we in really in college athletics? I mean, is it reached a critical stage, or is this really overblown and people are still going to watch it and still going to support it? How much
I
urgency is this in all
I
of
do
this?
think fan apathy is probably the most critical aspect of all this after a while. Because so many fans have prided their fandom on this ain't pro sports, even though we knew the money was enormous before NIL and these situations that have come about. I think that's the biggest concern, probably for college athletics, if something isn't formally presented and enforced that kind of reins all of this in. It's crazy. You can look at the breakdowns of, NFL successful quarterbacks this season that aren't going to make what Nico was going to make even at Tennessee. And he wants more than that. Brock Purdy, I guess, with the 49ers, I saw a number for him, based on his last guy picked when he came out. So you think about his rookie deal, it's minimum. So it's upside down. It really is. Not in every facet, because we get so caught up in the Nicos that there are plenty of third team left guards that are hoping for free wings from Baumhauers.
That's right.
That's the
They'd
reality.
be fine with that.
Yeah.
It's not roster wide.
Travis, yesterday, a post-spring press conference, Kalen DeBoer, Kane Womack, Ryan Grubb met the media in Tuscaloosa. I thought it was interesting that Ryan Grubb said if Alabama was playing a game today, Ty Simpson would be the starting quarterback. Was that a good thing for him to do?
I thought it was very interesting, and I think Ryan Grubb has enough of a documented background in terms of success with quarterbacks and offenses that he can probably say that. I would like to think that in the room there's believed to be more competition than there is. But when you really break this thing down, it's not even like last year. At least Ty a year ago at this time had a couple of years in the program, and we had seen him a good bit. And, I would have liked a year ago for that thing to have been presented from day one as at least some sort of competition. And it never was. You look ahead to this year, I mean, Ty, relative to the other two guys, is clearly the more experienced and further ahead. So I actually get it more this year than I did last year. And it makes sense too. I mean, you're opening on the road at Florida State. So if you did play today, who would you in almost all likelihood run out there barring injury? The most experienced guy that's got the most snaps and legitimate time behind center.
And I think, Travis, what probably all Alabama fans are wondering after they heard that statement from Ryan Grubb is, well, are they all going to stay, or is one of them going to leave?
That's what I've always been more interested in all this. How does the 2-3 work out? Because I was working off the assumption that Ty was going to be tough to unseat in 15 spring practices, especially with what spring practice appears to be coming, more and more of. But yeah, the intrigue for me has always been 2-3 and how that impacts their their room in terms of numbers. How are they presenting that to Keelan Russell and probably more so Austin Mack? Because Keelan at this point, really, it wouldn't make any sense for him to move on this quickly. And even with Austin Mack's ties to Kalen and Ryan Grubb dating back to UW, he would seem to be the guy of the three most likely in this window to look to maybe make a move. And I'm not convinced he will. He's still a young guy, still a developmental guy. And I think they've been able to impress that upon him. The problem becomes if a true freshman comes in as an early enrollee and you come out of spring ball and it's pretty clear that he's the two. That's where it's tough to move forward with that dynamic.
All right, let's get down to the serious questions here. All this was a precursor. On a scale of 1 to 10, Travis, when Rory hit it in the water on 13, 10 meaning he's done, one meaning he's done, and 10 meaning he'll come back from this. He's done it before. What was your level of confidence that ultimately later that day Rory McIlroy would be wearing the green jacket?
I was still a 6 because I knew he had 15 still coming, a par 5. And he could eagle that. So if you're tied for the lead and you're in the final group coming off 13, to me, you're still at a pretty good advantage because you do have 15. Now, look, you can bogey 14, 16, 17, 18 too. So when my confidence took more of a hit when Rose made his birdie at 18 and posted 11. When he posted 11, then it became because even with that par 5, Rory could bogey certainly 17 and or 18. He did. He doesn't get up and down from the bunker on 18 and regulation, and off to the playoff we go there, and that's when you really had to almost pull for Rory McIlroy because that sort of train wreck and then to lose and sudden death. The guy is so immensely talented. He probably would still go on to win another major or two, but I'm not Rory McIlroy, and I was tired of hearing about the McIlroy Masters Grand Slam thing. So as much as anything, I wanted him to win to just let's get something else to talk about next year.
Yeah. Let's move on. Really, the hard-nosed question, though, Travis, that's really been eating at me. We know that you're a chicken salad connoisseur. Your thoughts on pimento cheese? Because my partner would rather eat sand than pimento cheese. So what's your thoughts about
never
that
have understood the attraction
on the menu at Augusta National?
Pimento cheese is, to me, it's kind of like the Journey of classic rock. A lot of hits, a lot of people love Journey, but I'm just okay with Journey. You know what I mean? Journey comes on, Will in the Sky, some of those.
Yeah.
Okay. And then there's some
Stone
others
in Love.
Stone in Love, rocking.
Yeah. Great one. Then there's others, not so much. But look,
I get it.
We did at our store in Duval, Party Girl, we did a pre-order that was we called it the Magnolia Lane Trio. And you got a pound of chicken salad, which our chicken salad is going to be Masters quality.
Yeah.
Even though the Masters I don't think has chicken salad.
We
did a pound of egg salad, which is obviously a staple of AG&C. And then we did a pound of the pimento cheese. And we sell a ton of chicken salad and pimento cheese. So people love it. I mean, we are constantly making those things at Party Girl. I'm kind of like, I'm probably not at Barry's level of disdain for it, but I just need a bite of pimento cheese. I don't know. I can't eat a sandwich.
Yeah.
I can't eat a sandwich of it,
That's
fair. A cracker, give me a Ritz with a
cracker and then throw a little bit of hot sauce, a couple of dots of hot sauce on top of it, because there's cayenne in our pimento cheese, but we don't fire it up, So if you give me some sweet heat to go with that bite from that pimento cheese.
Okay, yeah.
I can do that on
All
a
right.
club cracker, club wafer.
I like that. Now, I will say this. It's not something you want to do every day, but a dollop, well, more than a dollop. Maybe a small scoop of pimento cheese on a hot hamburger patty to make that pimento cheese hamburger.
I can do that.
That's pretty good as well. I will say.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead with the pimento cheese.
You've got
we have a Conecuh cheddar biscuit that Heather makes that she has perfected, guys. It's a buttermilk biscuit, but then we actually use Conecuh sausage, obviously Conecuh County right there.
Yep.
Cannot beat that. You're off to a really good start so far.
I call it the Floribama biscuit. It's our version of Floribama because it's Alabama meets Duval. And we do just some small chunks of that Conecuh sausage into the dough, into the mix for the buttermilk cheddar biscuit.
All right.
And those things people are pre-ordering those. We might start shipping those. I'm going to ship you guys some of those. I'm going to ship you guys some of those.
Man, that sounds delicious.
They're in these brick squares, and the bottom gets that crispy crunch on the bottom. Oh, no.
Yeah.
I know, right?
I hadn't had breakfast yet, man. I'm starving.
It's rough.
That sounds so good.
That pimento cheese, even just a little on top of that with that Conecuh sausage. Yeah.
I get it. I get it.
I get it.
Send it to me, but don't tell John how many you send.
All right, Travis, before we let you go, I got to give a little love, and I hear what you're saying, but obviously when Barry and I were growing up, Journey was huge. You mentioned it, Stone in Love, Wheel in the Sky, Loving.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Loving, Touching, Squeezing, the whole deal. Well, when they were back on their latest tour, one of my daughters lives in Charlotte, the other one lives in D.C. I saw Journey in Charlotte. Saw Journey in D.C., took them both. I had to let them see what it was about in the heyday of the 80s. Yeah. And I will tell you, Arnel Pineda, lead singer, the guy's phenomenal. Unbelievable.
I've been very impressed with him. See, I grew up in Jacksonville, so we had Redneck Journey. We had 38 Special.
There you go. Yeah, Redneck Journey. Yeah.
And they were Jacksonville guys. So we had Don Barnes and Donnie Van Zant and the boys. That was Redneck.
Oh, hold on loosely.
I mean, that's Redneck Journey. Listen to Hold On Loosely. That Journey
needs a second chance.
That's just Duval Journey.
I love it. Redneck Journey. That's classic. I love it.
Excellent stuff. Travis Reier on YouTube. Give us a preview about what you've got planned for later this week on the channel.
Well, we had a Talkin' Tide last night. Chase Goodbread and myself. Chase, of course, the sports columnist for the Tuscaloosa News, where we talked about a lot of Alabama football, a lot of Alabama hoops as well. Had some fun. We talked about the passing of the late, great brother, Bill Oliver. Just an all-timer, right? Where Alabama football is concerned, and really football in the state of Alabama, and beyond. So all of that's at Reier on YouTube. Reier on YouTube, that's the channel. And, of course, on X, at Travis Reier, TravisReier.
Travis, real quick before we do let you go, you just touched on it, and I did want to ask you, what about basketball, the roster movement, some guys leaving, some guys coming in?
I mean, you look at what is slotted right now, it's, I think, 10 guys, and that includes 3 freshmen that are coming in. So you got some slots still available, and I look at this team right now and think they need another guy or 2 maybe even that can really play on the ball. I know Reitzel's back. I know Millette is back. They've gone to the portal for a guard, but it'll be interesting to see how Nate moves forward now. Jaron Stevenson, a nice player. I think he's a 4-year guy at the end of the day. As talented as he is, I think, look, good for him. I'm sure he benefited from NIL, where going home to North Carolina is concerned. A little surprised that from Mo Diabate, Reed, and Stevenson, none of those guys came back. I thought one of those 3 would be back.
That is a surprise.
There's none.
Yeah. Always great to talk with you, Travis. Appreciate the insight.
Yeah.
Thanks a bunch.
All right. Thanks, guys. See ya.
All right, great stuff, man. Can't wait to get some of those biscuits, Barry. Woo! Those things sound awesome.
That does sound good. His place, his wife's place down in Jacksonville, quite the reputation. That's good stuff.
Yes,
Check them out.
yeah.
Then again, quite the reputation with Travis Reier.
Better
On
believe
with
it.
us every Tuesday at this time. Let's take a break. Still to come, the Phantom's Daily Dog.
Come up next.
He went baseball yesterday.
Yeah, might not do that anymore.
Yeah, we do want to talk about Brother Oliver and his
Yes.
legacy and our Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel, all still to come on the Tuesday live show. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Here we are at Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry. Our friend, everybody's friend, Mary Ann is with us. Mary Ann, April is a special month, even more special at Marguerite's.
Definitely. Okay, so it's the first of the month, Barry. What's that birthstone?
It's a diamond, right?
Yes. Winner. It's easy to remember because with April comes baseball season, baseball diamond. We've got diamond month here at Marguerite's, and it is a great time. We are having diamond month to really emphasize all the great diamonds we have in stock. We're doing crazy specials on natural as well as lab created diamonds with solitaire specials, starting out at, this is crazy to believe, $500 for a lab created diamond solitaire. That's insane. Like a 1 carat inner ring. We have diamond studs, diamond tennis necklaces, tennis bracelets. Everything with our diamonds are going to be unmatched, unparalleled prices. And loose stones, again, maybe because it is baseball season and you're watching all of those games that you need to give a little extra something, or that girlfriend that you've been dating for a while needs to get an engagement ring. Well, now is definitely the time to do it because our loose diamonds are on special.
Yeah, if you are thinking about an engagement, here's a pro tip. That may be Marianne's favorite thing to do at Marguerite's, is to help the guys make sure their odds are good with a beautiful diamond for that loved one that they're going to pop the question to, right?
Most definitely. It's great to help. We love helping you. The hardest thing you have to do is walk through the door. Next thing, I mean, honestly, you just say, I need to get engaged. Or between the two of us or the rest of these listeners, I can tell when a guy walks through. They kind of just have that look and they're just walking slow and looking around. And I'm like, need an engagement ring? And they just shake their head. I take it from there. Just get some ideas. White gold, yellow gold, diamonds. We have them. Guys, it's not hard. Honestly, just walk through the door. We can help you.
Yeah, it's not intimidating at all. They have people who would love to help, especially in Diamond Month in April in Marguerite's. Yes. Marianne, as always, it's so great to talk with you. What are the hours of operation?
Sure. We're open 7 days a week in the Pepper Tree Shopping Center, 10 to 5:30 Monday through Friday, 10 to 5 on Saturday, and noon to 5 on Sunday.
Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry, Pepper Tree Center, next to Chappie's Deli, 8163 Vaughn Road in Montgomery. Thanks very much, Marianne. Great to see you.
Great to see you, too.
Okay, about 28 minutes to the top of the hour. Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. All right, Phantom's Daily Dogberry. We took a little dip into the Major League Baseball pool yesterday as the
NBA had the break between the end of the regular season and the start of tonight's play-in tournament. Phantom didn't have just a smorgasbord of opportunity. So the Phantom, Phantom went baseball yesterday.
I'll just say, thankfully, the NBA's back tonight. More on that in a moment. We had the Kansas City Royals at plus 125 at the Yankees. Barry, this game was close for a while, meaning nobody had scored a run through the second inning.
But that's usually the case, right? Yeah, well, New York threw a little two-hitter.
Yeah.
At Kansas City.
Yeah, they did.
Kansas City did scratch out one run on a home run by maybe my favorite non-Brave, non-Dodger player, Bobby Witt Jr. But that was it. That was all.
That was it.
That was it.
Yeah. That was it. So Kansas City did not get the W last night, so I'm done with them. Probably never going to go for Kansas City the remainder of the season. Who knows, though? We'll see. Tonight, Barry, you mentioned the NBA playoffs begin. This is the playoffs, isn't it?
It's a gimmick, extended. I feel the same way about this as I feel about the play-in game in Major League Baseball, one game, blah, blah, blah. Now, in college basketball, it's still the tournament, because in college basketball, every game you play in the tournament, if you lose, you're out. In Major League Baseball and in the NBA, you lose this game, you're out. You win, and then you go best of 3, and then you go best of 5, and all that kind of stuff. So it's a different format after this. But there are 2 games today in the play-in game.
Mm-hmm.
The winner of the Eastern Conference play-in is a number 7 seed. The winner of the Western Conference play-in is a 7 seed. What looks good to you here?
Barry, we're going to go down to Central Florida tonight. It's a game at 6:30 on TNT.
Yeah.
In Orlando, where the Magic are hosting the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks catching 5.5 in this game tonight. We like the number. We're going to take the Hawks plus the 5.5 as the Phantoms daily dog in an NFL play-in, NBA play-in game tonight. So there you have it. The Hawks plus 5.5, 6:30 TNT, the first of a doubleheader tonight on TNT.
Yeah.
So if you want to watch some NBA tonight, it's a good night for you.
Here's what it's a play-in tournament. I don't want to make it, that you win, you move on, you lose, you go home. The play-in tournament, the winner is the number 7 seed in their conference. The winner will face either the Celtics or the Rockets, depending on, Western Conference, Eastern Conference. If you lose the game today, then you've got another shot on Friday. But if you win on Friday, then you're the number 8 seed. It's,
Yeah, I love it.
Okay,
Yeah,
so there
not?
you go.
It's good
There
stuff.
is.
So we'll have that for you tonight.
Okay.
A couple of good chats from Tobias we'll get to here in just a second. But Ty, yes, Toto was the opening act for Journey the 2 times that I saw them recently. They can still do it. And they have a lot of hits. And, of course, Hold the Line is one of their bigger ones. But they had a lot of great they played for about an hour opening up for both concerts, and they can still do it. Toto can still belt it out there. They were good, too.
Yeah. You can't tell me, let me go, Robbie. You can't tell me that this guy, Arnel Pineda.
Look, nobody will ever be able to replicate Steve Perry.
Steve Perry, that's what I wanted you to hear.
No way.
Okay, all right. I didn't,
nobody can replicate him, but he's pretty close. I will say that. He's close.
He's Arnel Pineda is Jackie Mason to Steve Perry's Rodney Dangerfield.
So the thing that makes him entertaining, there again, I think his voice is really good. But there again, I mean, you're not going to replace Frank Sinatra. You're not going to replace Steve Perry. There's a lot out there. You're not going to replace
David Lee Roth.
I never thought he could sing.
Well, see, that's the thing. Is Sammy Hagar is about 10 times a better singer than David Lee Roth. But everybody always says, I like David Lee Roth better. And
Sure. The thing about Arnel is his stage presence. I mean, the guy is all over the place, running around, jumping around. I mean, he's a lot younger than most of the guys in Journey. Most of those guys are pushing 70. Neil Sean,
over
Jonathan
70.
Kane, all those guys, and they can still play it. But Arnell's probably 20 years younger than they are, and his stage and his interaction with the audience is really, really good. The audience just eats him up. And there again, he can sing really good too.
Okay,
And I will say this: he's closer to Steve Perry on the slower stuff, the ballad kind of stuff.
Forever yours.
He's really good. You can really tell he's really close. Who's Crying Now? I never thought Open Arms. I thought that was kind of a crappy song.
Yeah, that
I never really liked that one.
Sappy,
but he's good. He's good on that, and you can tell maybe some of the higher notes though on some of the rock and roller, faster type stuff. He's a little off on that, but nonetheless, good stuff there. Tobias,
Yep.
yeah, you're right. Maybe the quarterback at Tennessee got some bad advice from his father or uncle or whatnot. But I thought it was interesting, Barry. The players are finding out, you can get cut too. We can let you go. We don't need you.
See, that and that there needs to be some protection for the players as well. Like employment, I still don't think that an employment contract is going to be the way to go. He says this: a quarterback has to transfer in the spring. Has to transfer in the winter. For Nico, because if he transferred in the winter, he could transfer to another SEC school. So the options are greater. But they waited until the very end of spring. If he transferred in the winter, he could have transferred to another SEC school. He transferred in the spring. He can't go to another SEC school, so he's kind of limited there. Just got some bad advice, especially the advisor who said, well, just don't show up. Just don't go to practice. That ends the negotiations right there. When you quit on your team, then you got to let him go. All right.
Well, you're right about that. You stopped going to practice, Barry. You're right. As Travis mentioned, the rest of the players are going, whoa, if he ain't coming to practice, I ain't either.
Yeah. Couple of things. We've got the topic wheel ready. I'm hoping we're talking a little bit about the NBA. Want to talk a little bit about the passing of a guy who spent a good bit of time with us, Brother Oliver, and his legacy. He spent a good deal of time with us. He was a guest on the program a couple of times. He was a big listener. I think he lived in Lake Martin. He used to listen to us all the time. He would text me every once in a while.
I remember, I don't know if this is the accurate way to put it, but Coach Oliver and I got sideways about a topic long ago. We saw it differently. And he wasn't real happy about it. And we talked about it off the air, and he explained it. It had a lot to do with Alabama's national championship year, and also the departure of Gene Stallings and what supposedly was supposed to happen, but did not.
Right.
What happened prior to Gene Stallings' hiring. And so Coach Oliver and I saw it differently. We talked it out, and he came on the show and came in studio
I remember.
To our radio show after that. And once we got it all worked out, everything was great. And I'd see him up at the lake from time to time. And he great guy, no doubt about it. And sorry to hear of his passing.
Long, full life. Glad to see that he lived such a long, full life. But do you remember him fondly, Bama fans? They played there, was the coordinator on some really, really, really good Alabama defenses, was maybe in his day, in his prime, the best defensive coordinator in the country. But then he went to Auburn. He was the interim coach at Auburn when Bowden got let go midseason. There was a strong group of Auburn players that wanted him to be the head coach.
Yeah.
And he very much wanted to be the head coach at Auburn. But it didn't work out for him. Auburn went with Tuberville, and the rest is history. But there are some Alabama fans who think that his Auburn experience tainted his legacy a little bit. What do you think the legacy is?
I disagree.
Oh, I'm glad to know, because I think it would be unfair.
Yeah, I disagree. I mean, it's a business. Look, how many times have I said this? If I had $1 for every time I said it, I have a lot of dollars. Said it yesterday. If my two 17-year-olds get a scholarship to Auburn, wiggle, war damn eagle, kick him in the butt, Big Blue. We can't get over there quick enough.
Right.
If they want me to be Albie for a good day, I'm in. They pay me. So I get it. It's a business decision. And things didn't work out in Tuscaloosa. What's he supposed to do? Sit there and make pizzas at Bama Bino? No, he's got to go get a job. And
he's got to
Auburn
earn some
won.
a living. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what do Auburn people think about Harvey Glantz? Well, maybe that's not a good example.
Well, of course, at Auburn, there were some people who weren't real happy with him.
But my point
Piota
being,
says when serving as interim head coach at Auburn, Brother Oliver wouldn't come out of the press box to coach the team. I get that. Brother Oliver was accused of having a tape recorder in the team meetings and stuff. I'm not going to drag all of this out.
I mean, it's not the worst that's ever happened in college athletics. Give me a break.
No, but I liked him. I thought he was a fantastic, everything that you kind of, I mean, he was not a bosom buddy or anything, but he was very nice to me, very nice to John. He was very complimentary of our show and everything. But, he was a really good football coach. He positively impacted the lives of a lot of young people, raised his family, paid his bills, coached football at a high level. I got no problem with him at all.
One of my favorite Brother Oliver stories, heard it from multiple people. When he was at Alabama, they'd go out and recruit, and they'd go after these, these really good athletic players, and the first practice would roll in, and these guys would be on the offensive side, and they'd run about 2 or 3 drills, and then Brother Oliver would say, all right, y'all come down here. Whoa, coach. You recruited me on offense. Nope, you're on defense. He wanted the best athletes on defense.
Yeah.
And obviously in 92, you could see it. There were a lot of great athletes on that defense, on that 92 national championship team. But I don't know if you could get away and do that nowadays. But back then, we told you we'd let you play offense.
Yeah.
You did. That was 2 series, but now get over here and play defense. That's what we
nowadays
recruiting
transfer portal. Right? That day.
I don't know if this is on the wheel. If it is, excuse me, I'm sorry. But, Barry, what do you think about Colorado retiring the numbers for Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter? I mean, really?
That is a little early. That is a little early. I think if maybe 10 years from now.
Well, I'm with you there.
There's got to be a little bit of time to reflect upon their legacy.
And the only reason I bring up Shedeur, Bear, I'm hearing a lot of rumblings. I don't want to say strong. Strong might be too strong of a word, but I'm hearing a lot of indicators that are pointing to Shedeur being in New Orleans.
I like that. I mean, I think he's a really good quarterback. I get putting Travis Hunter's statue out there. Guy won a Heisman. Still think you got to wait about 10 years. I don't know how long it took to Cam to get his. It took a lot longer for Bo to get his.
180 days, I think, Barry.
But Shedeur wasn't that great.
I shouldn't laugh at my own material. I know. I'm sorry.
Shedeur was good.
Yeah.
I don't know that he was great. It feels like if you're giving a statue to Shedeur Sanders, you need to have a statue of Tua in Tuscaloosa.
Well, some schools, Barry, like to have statues of players.
As far as, really, really good player, player. If you put a statue for every really, really good player who went through Alabama, or really, really, you'd have 30, 40, 50 statues.
Let me ask
He's good. He's really good, but statue is for a legend.
Ask you this. If Bruce Pearl announced he was retiring today, would Auburn put a statue of him in front of Neville Arena in the next year?
In the next year, I wouldn't. Not in the year. I mean, he'll get a star if he doesn't already have it on the at Toomer's Corner on the sidewalk.
Or should he get a statue any year?
Yeah, absolutely he should.
So why would you put a statue up of Bruce Pearl and not Gene Chizik?
John is going to pound the. I don't know if Gene Chizik knows this, but to paraphrase Woody in the Toy Story, Gene Chizik's got a friend in John. I don't think Gene really fully realizes what a true, steadfast, loyal friend he has in John Longshore.
Barry,
John has been on this topic for forever. And he does make sense. You know, he won a national championship.
Sure. Team
not
award.
Played for one,
No.
not, you know, got some national or some regional chemist set of brothers to award him one. He won a national championship.
Yeah, sure did.
Now, his last 2 years were demonstrably terrible, but he won a national championship. That gets you a by gosh statue. And John is getting a little bit tired of waiting for it.
I really am, Barry. I just don't get it. I mean, when I come to the time, hopefully years and years from now, when I say, you know, I've had a great life in sports media and I'm going to wrap it up. Until that day comes, Barry, I am pushing for the Gene Chizik statue and a Mike Shula appreciation moment at the first time out of an Alabama football game in the first quarter. I don't think I'm asking too much. And those are two things that have really griped me. We don't want a statue of Shula, obviously not, but a little appreciation, a little love. I mean, went through a tumultuous time during Alabama football and people just kicking to the curb. Had a 10-win season.
How many people would have taken that job in, what was it, John?
May.
It
was in May.
May?
Yeah.
May's next month.
Yes, it is.
You know how late that is in the calendar for somebody to say, hey, I'll take the job.
Sure.
I'll take a couple of hits, but don't be screaming at me when you run me off that I wasn't that good, you know, which is what has happened.
I think Mike Price was playing in a tournament at Kiva Dunes or Perdido Key after he left Aridy's Angels and whatever. And yeah, the rest is history. That was
never happened with Shula, did it?
No, it didn't.
He never embarrassed the brand.
I still am trying to figure out, Barry, why does Charles Barkley have a statue at Auburn? What did he do? Was he the best player in Auburn history?
Well, he was up until this year.
I mean, why's he got a statue? I mean, I don't have anything against Chuck, but they didn't win a national title. They win the conference title. Oh, so you're saying if I gave Auburn enough money, would they put a statue of me over there?
I don't know about that. They might name the locker room after you or something like that, like they did. Who were the people that they named the locker room after in Tuscaloosa, the visiting locker room?
The Poors or the Losers or some.
No, who was those guys? Somebody help us out on the chat room when we come back.
Yeah,
it's about 8 minutes until the hour. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information.
All right, man, grab a Budweiser and take a knee. It is the best time of the year. It's baseball season. That means sunshine. It means behind-the-back peanut tosses. And it means sharing some cold, frosty Budweisers with your boys. Because there's nothing more American than watching America's game with America's beer. So let me ask you something. Are you ready to bring your A game? Are you ready to cheer every frozen rope down the line and amazing catch at the warning track? Are you ready for pitchers' duels and slugfests? Tell me, are you ready for the thrill of an incredible walk-off victory? I can't hear you. Are you ready for Budweiser and baseball? Then get on your feet, raise an ice-cold Bud, and let's make this season larger than life. Great times are waiting. Grab some Bud!
Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Local banking expertise The newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to banking above and beyond at Riverbank and Trust. Locations throughout the River region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. Riverbank and Trust. It's about 6 minutes to the top of the hour. I see Gurn Jr. has the Victoryland 777 topic wheel loaded up, ready to go. Chris is anxiously ready for it. Says, it's rolling, baby. Yes, it is rolling.
He's talking about Mike Price.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
Oh, what was that lady's name?
God, what was her?
Colette?
Tiffany, Lexus, Mercedes, Tammy.
All right, here we go.
Juanita. Anyway, no, it was somebody else. All right, spin it, Gurn. Let's see what we got here on the Victoryland 777 topic wheel, where you can be a winner to exit 22 off I-85 Shorter, Alabama. Fumble, bumble.
Bumble.
Rumble in the jungle. Fumble. Oh yeah.
Oh, the Veep.
Yeah. Hey, wow.
Nobody told Vice President J.D. Vance that the trophy is in two pieces. Good job. Who was it? Travion Henderson, the running back, who ended up saving it over there, didn't let the actual football fall down. But nobody told the vice president that thing comes in two pieces and you need to handle both of them. Ohio State was at the White House yesterday. I think Trump was at WWE or something like that.
Yeah, over the weekend. Yeah, sure was.
So the vice president.
Trump was back in the White House yesterday. Woo! Boy, there was a great press conference inside the Oval Office.
Okay,
he's done a little redecorating in the Oval Office. A little bit too much gold for my taste in there, but if that's what he likes, go for it. You know, Barry, that
was not on J.D. Vance. That was
I'm about to say
somebody.
J.D., our vice president's aide, his right-hand man, might be looking for a job today. That's something you need to let the vice president know.
Yeah,
sir, it's in two pieces. If you happen to pick it up, don't forget it's in two pieces. That guy might be.
Travion Henderson hung on to it though. Ohio State running back. Kind of saved the day.
That guy might be cutting the grass for the vice president today.
No excuse.
All right, Gurn, let's spin it again. See what we got here on the Victoryland 777 topic wheel. You can be a winner to exit 22 off I-85 Shorter, Alabama, and it looks like it's going to be the Troy Trojans. What's going on down in Troy?
Well, there's plenty happening this week in Troy athletics. Today, men's and women's golf. Men's golf is at the Mossy Oak Collegiate at Old Waverly. Been there before?
Track. Yes,
West Point.
Yep.
Women's golf is at the Sun Belt Championship of the Lakewood Club in Point Clear. Baseball, the number 18 Troy Trojans are ranked in every poll. They're at home because it's Easter weekend. The baseball series in college all move up a day, so they don't play on Sunday, so everybody can have Easter. Troy will open up a home series against ULM at Riddle Pace Field at 6 o'clock on Thursday. And one of John's favorites, the concession special on Thursday and throughout the weekend, a donut bacon cheeseburger.
You know, Bear, never had one. I know it was popular out at the fair many years ago. They're always coming up with new fair food. I think it's a hamburger in between two Krispy Kreme donuts. I've not had one, but people that have says it's kind of tasty. Wouldn't want to eat one every day, but they say it's got a nice little taste to it.
That's not the thing. Also on Saturday, final game of the series, 3:33 start time against ULM. After the game, kids get to run the bases, and there's a post-game Easter egg hunt.
Nice.
For all the kids as well. Tickets available at TroyTrojans.com/tickets.
You know, hide some of those eggs where it's a little difficult. Just don't lay them out there. You know, make them look for them a little bit.
Yeah, under a base or,
that's right. Yeah. That golden egg, you really got to hide that one. All right, Gurn, let's spin it again. See what we got here. Victoryland 777 topic wheel is spinning around and around and around. Where it stops, no. I should have been a carny.
Yeah, where it stops, nobody knows.
Making history.
Was it Casino Greg when the? Oh, yep.
How about yep?
We had a quick mention of this. The final round of the Masters averaged 12.7 million viewers on CBS. 12.707, a 33% jump from last year, and the biggest rating for any golf telecast since 2018.
Peaked at 19.5 million between 6 and 6:15. That's about when they were going to a playoff.
That was again, Paramount Plus had a lot of the action. The most streamed sports activity ever on Paramount Plus.
Well, and I mentioned yesterday, I watched some of the early action on Paramount Plus. Yeah, I certainly did.
Yeah, if you remember 2018, that was Patrick Reed, who I don't like, beating Ricky Fowler by a shot. McIlroy, that was 18, was a spectacular collapse by McIlroy in the final round. That one had been the largest until this. It's big for the PGA because it kind of dispels, the common perception that, golf ratings are going to be in decline because of all the guys who had left for the LIV Tour. But they did have DeChambeau, John Rahm, some of the LIV guys that were playing on it.
Who didn't play well. Didn't have a good tournament. I thought that was interesting. Yeah.
Well,
some of those guys did not play well. All right, Gurn, how about you hold these over till tomorrow? Yep. We'll add a few more to the Victoryland 777 topic wheel as well. Hey, thanks as always, Bryan Matthews, auburnsports.com, Travis Reier on YouTube. Barry, tomorrow I believe we're getting the time confirmed, but our man Tom Luganville is going to join us to kind of give us a recap of spring football, get his thoughts about it, and maybe what's coming up this fall. So always enjoy having Lugs on with us. And our man CJ Duncan from Yellowhammer News will join us as well.
Yep, it's all coming up. Glad to have you along with us here on our Tuesday live show. You can tell all your friends about it, get them to like and subscribe. Also, all of the different avenues in which you can catch our show on repeat. For our producer, Gurn Jr., for John Longshore, I'm Barry McKnight. In association with Yellowhammer News, it's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light.